Welcome back to QWORDS. This month, we'll be talking about consent with special guest Sarah from Project Lighthouse.
Consent is the permission to do something. This applies in all sorts of situations, but the big thing we'll be talking about in the context of consent today is sex. This means being able to say yes and to say no to all sorts of activities. When we talk about consent in relation to sex, we mean asking for what you're into.
Consent needs to be freely given. If someone is pressured to say yes or doesn't feel safe to say no, then that isn't consent. Consent to one thing doesn't mean consent to everything. Saying yes to making out doesn't mean yes to everything else. And consent can be withdrawn at any time, even if you're in the middle of something.
Consent isn't just about sex. We make use of this concept of asking for permission all the time, like when we ask to borrow a book from someone. We should ask for consent for any sort of physical contact, such as for hugs. It can feel a bit awkward if you're not used to it, but it's important. If you struggle with communicating around consent, it may be useful to figure out what tools work well for you. That could include talking to your partner about what to look for to know if you're okay or not, filling out yes, no, maybe checklists together, or using stoplight language to share where you're at, with green meaning yes, yellow meaning slow down, check in, maybe do something else, and red meaning stop.
In addition to making sure you're not hurting anyone, opening up the space for communication can help you ask for what you want and make sure that you have better sex. It's important to ask for what you want, and even though it can be hard, practicing saying no to things you don't like is okay. You can say things like, I like that, this feels good, can we do this again? That's asking for consent. And if you're not sure, it's best to ask and make sure you're both on the same page.
Not everyone feels comfortable saying no, and just because someone isn't saying no doesn't mean that they're saying yes either. No can sound different to everyone. Things like, can we do this instead? Or I have a headache might not sound like a no, but we should just accept that everyone knows what they want for their own body.
One thing you can do is practice communicating your wants and boundaries and learn how to pay attention to the signals people might be giving. If you put together sentences like, can I blank your blank, that might help you feel more comfortable asking for what you want. If someone tells you they've experienced sexual violence, believe them. You can also let them know there are people who can help on and off campus. And as always, remember to be kind and treat everyone with respect and compassion.